Okay, I got my marching orders.
Here we go.
Let's begin with something that I just got a word. I just met with DeAndre Burnett and his mom, Wes Brown, our trainer, and my coaching staff. Very, very sadly have to report that DeAndre has a left wrist injury. We don't know how long it will take for the injury to heal, but as of this moment, we are planning to redshirt him for the season.
When did it happen?
I think on Sunday. Yeah, it was Sunday. During practice, he drove to the basket. Rafael Acamajuri took a charge on him. He left his feet, ran into him, and when he came down, braced his fall, broke his fall with his wrist. And he had x-rays done. Now the doctors will determine exactly what the next steps will be, but we're pretty certain that whatever the rehab is, it's going to take a while.
So he had surgery on it?
Not yet.
No.
And you can talk to Wes Brown about what the next steps are. He really needs to have like a plan in place for what he's going to be able to do and not be able to do for the next several months.
What had you seen of DeAndre before that?
He and I had a talk. I talked with my staff about him. It's funny. Some players are like point guards. Some guys are two guards. DeAndre's a bucket getter, like a Benny Gordon, a Kemba Walker. Not really ones or twos. Who's the guy who plays with the Heat? I know his name. Played for Cleveland State.
Norris Cole.
Norris Cole. He's like that. You know, he's someone that can play the point, play the two, but the thing he does is he can score. He shoots threes, he drives, he makes free throws, and he's probably he's definitely in the top 5 guys that I've ever coached in terms of how much he wants to be in the gym working on the game. And whenever you have guys who are that committed, they're normally very successful.
Who can fill in what you're losing with him?
Oh, nobody. You know, we already had a number of things that shortened our bench. We only had 10 scholarship players to begin the season. Now we have 9.
Jim, you mentioned the timetable it would take. Can you elaborate a little bit more on why you're going to go in retro as opposed to bringing them back for the last, I don't know how many.
No, that's why I tell you need to talk to Wes Brown about all the plan that's in place to. I don't want to, you know, mislead anybody. The injury is serious enough that he's going to have to sit out the year.
So how, I mean, I know you just have to obviously go with who you have, but how disappointing is it to lose a guy?
Well, I'm sure
like
it's
that?
very disappointing for him because, you know, one of the great things in recruiting is when you come across a young man who really knows what he wants. And DeAndre was one of those young men. He knew he wanted to come to Miami even when we did not have a scholarship available for him. And was willing to go to prep school to kind of hone his skills. And he did. And he had a fantastic year last year at Massanutten. He averaged like 30 points a game, played against some of the best prep schools in the country and best players in the country who play in prep schools. And he did very, very well. He had games in the 40s, games in the 30s, and averaged, as I said, about 30 points a game. And he came here this summer and was working very hard when he sustained a shoulder injury that required surgery. So he broke his collarbone and needed surgery, so he missed all of July, August, and September. So he's only really been with us for about a month, but during that time it was very, very clear that he had earned the respect of the coaches and his teammates that he was going to be a major factor this year.
How was your class today? I think you taught a class today?
I don't know if I would say I taught, but I lectured at a
spoke.
class today.
Did they listen?
Well, two of the University of Miami men's basketball players were in the class,
Oh.
Angel Rodriguez and Tanya Jakiri. They better have been listening. And a couple of my managers were in there, and I'll be quizzing them later today. But I enjoy interacting with the students. I enjoy a classroom environment. I enjoy answering their questions and sharing with them some of my experiences. I talk to them a little bit about my values and the things that were important to me as a coach, as a parent, and things that I thought should be important to them as students and young people who are going to be joining the workforce in a very short period of time. The 2 or 3 years, there were no freshmen in the class, if I recall correctly. They were all sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So within a year or 2 or 3, all of them will be trying to get jobs in their chosen field. And I try to stress to them the things that I stress to our players about what it takes to be successful. I told them about 2 good books that I thought they could learn from. Dr. Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and Malcolm Gladwell's The Outliers. And I talked to them also about prioritizing their time, and hopefully the message about how important it is to have a vision for what you like your life to be like, and then how you are in control of it, but you will face adversity throughout your life, no matter what field you choose.
So, Coach, have you ever had a team that had no starters back, and if so, how did they fare? Did they make the tournament, or in your long career, do you have a situation like this?
Well, I don't think I've ever had a team that didn't have any starters back.
Jim, you mentioned after the exhibition game that you're a little disappointed with Tanya's offensive performance.
Well, disappointed is the word. I don't think I used disappointed, did I?
I'm not sure the exact word that you said, but
Well, I would say that we are trying to help Tanya figure out the best way for him to score.
did you talk to him about that after the game? You know, coming 1 for 7, you know, a lot of the other players thought he had improved offensively. Did you talk to him?
Yeah, we're actually, I spend a lot of time with Tanya on the court. And there's certain things you can teach, and there's certain things that only experience can teach you. You've got to do them over and over again. And practice only creates a certain number of those opportunities. So, for example, if you are teaching driver ed, and you're on a practice course with no other cars on the highway, you think you can drive after you've taken the course. And then all of a sudden you get on a superhighway where everybody's traveling 65 miles an hour and you've never done that before. So Tanya's going to be in a position where he's going to be expected to defend, rebound, and score. And I think he's very, very confident in his defense and his rebounding. He's not as confident in his scoring, although if he figures 1 or 2 things out, he could be. How can I explain that? He has ways to score. He's got to use them. And right now, he hasn't figured out when to use them and when not to use them. So in my mind, he could be a double-figure scorer this year for us. But he has to know, when do I shoot my turnaround jump shot? When do I shoot my jump hook? Because he has a terrific jump hook, and he's got a terrific turnaround jump shot. But if you're hesitant, like, oh, should I shoot my jump shot or should I shoot my jump hook? Oh, you're too late. It's got to be very instinctive. Oh, this is my turnaround. Oh, this is my jump hook. I know it. I know the precise moment I catch the ball as to what I'm going to do. There's no hesitation.
you mentioned with Manu, just you know, maybe to shoot more and things like that. But now that the game's under his belt, you know, different from practice, like you just mentioned, What did you talk to him about? Were there moments in the game where he could have taken more shots? I know he did.
Well, it's not moments in the game where he could have taken more shots. That's not the issue. What we've explained to Manu is we need him to be more aggressive. He's another one who he can really shoot. A terrific three-point shooter, he can make layups, but you have to be looking for them. There's a major difference between someone who's standing, waiting for the shot, knows the moment it hits his hands he's shooting, and someone who's standing there, catches the ball, turns to see if he has the shot, and then by that time you don't. So in Manu's case, if he's not looking for the shot continually, there are going to be times when he has the shot, he's just not going to take it because he wasn't really looking for it.
With DeAndre being the bucket getter, and after that game the other day, you talked about how the team was going to rely on those points that he's going to bring. Who do you see getting those points? No.
Every guy has his strengths and weaknesses. One of DeAndre's strengths was really scoring the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I ask for volunteers on my team who would like to get all of DeAndre's shots, I'm going to have 9 guys who want those shots. It's not a matter of shooting, it's a matter of making.
Right.
Anybody can get the shots. It's a matter of putting the ball in the basket. And so we're trying to figure out. That's why I said, if we can get Manu to really look for some more shots, if we can get Tanya to figure out when he should shoot his turnaround jump shot and when he should shoot his jump hook, those 2 players will perform at a much higher level. And you might think it's simple, but it really is not.
It's just not their mindset.
It's not, players who have played a long time develop a routine of how they're going to play. So for example, if you watched Chris Paul play, you could videotape one game and just then replay it in every game. You see exactly the same kinds of passes, dribble moves, shots he takes. It doesn't vary much. Our players right now don't have that plan yet in mind. In Tanye's case, last year, he wasn't expected to be a big scorer. So he wasn't even looking for his shots. So when you threw the ball to him, he was likely going to pass.
Mm-hmm.
That was his plan. I'm going to pass, I'm going to pass. The only time he shot it, I would bet of all the baskets he got last year, about 3/4 of them were, the ball was thrown up in the air, a lob, all he had to do was catch it and finish. In that case, he did not have a choice. Should I shoot a turnaround? Should I shoot a jump shot? I'm just laying it in.
Right.
So the difference is now, we're going to try to throw those up to you, big fella, but we're not going to get 1 or 2 a game and that'll be enough for your performance. Like last year, if you got 1 or 2, that was great. We need for you to get 8 or 10 or 12 shots in every game, and not all of them are going to be lobs. So you have to have a jump shot, a jump hook, maybe even a driving layup, a fast break layup, something like that. And in his case and in Manu's case, they don't have a ton of experience. If you compare it to writing, you have kids who know the English language very, very well. They have great vocabulary, but the problem into making a story interesting is putting all of that vocabulary in the right order so someone can read it and it makes sense and it be entertaining. That's the order we're trying to get for them. When this occurs, then use your jump hook. If that occurs, no jump hook, turn around jump shot. In fact, not only turn around, but bank it in. This is your bank shot. This is when you should shoot your jump hook. This is it. And he's got to be able to recognize that. Manu the same way. You get the ball back in this situation, you should be just launching. Shoot the 3. But if you get the ball back in this other situation where the defense is closing real fast, just beat them, drive, and look for your floater. And as time goes by, you'll see a difference. That's why I said this is going to be a year where there's going to be a lot of growing pains. Very, very similar to my first year. The difference is we had experienced players that were going to experience those growing pains. Now it's inexperienced players.
Coach, I was wondering if you can tell us who the starting five will be Friday, and also who was the most improved player from last season to now?
Okay, if everything were to remain the same, and I don't know that, we'll probably start the same team we did against Florida Tech, which is Manu at the point, Darius Adams at the 2, Ryan Brown at the 3, Donovan Kirk at the 4, and Tanya Jakiri at the 5. Davon Reed will sub at the 1, 2, and 3. Eric Swope will sub at the 3 and 4. James Kelly will sub at the 4 and 5. And Raphael will sub at the 4 and 5. So we have 9 guys, and then we'll be working with Steve Sorensen, a walk-on, Justin Heller, another walk-on, to see if we can prepare them to provide us any depth at all.
Coach, I saw a thing, actually today, a story today.
Hold on one second. The most improved player from last year is probably Tanya.
Even though he's got more to come yet, but he's still.
Yeah, it's, you know, when you have, when you're trying to go from the 7th or 8th man on the team to an all ACC caliber, being in the top 5 or 10 players in the league in an NBA first round draft race, that's a long ways to go. He is maybe a third of the way there. He has moved into a starting role, and hopefully he'll be a double-figure scorer. Right? But to get to from there to where I think he can get to, it is going to take a lot more time.
No,
Sorry.
That's all right. Just saw a piece today where some coaches have run into problems with the new foul rule, or the way the game is called. Tremendous number of fouls, 70, even up to 90. I noticed you didn't have that problem in this game, where it didn't show up in your exhibition game. Is that something you concentrated on, or is it, did you approach anything different there?
Well, every game is officiated differently because you have a different officiating crew. I think we did a good job the other night of staying out of foul trouble, although Ryan Brown picked up 4 fouls, which not good for us. So it's always been a point of emphasis in practice, and continue to be a point of emphasis throughout the season, trying to stay away from fouling. And the referees, they'll call it the way they see it.
Is it, or a coaching technique that we're talking about, you know, as, not as much reaching and checking, but you coach more of moving your feet, don't you?
Well, we've always tried to play position defense and move our feet and not use our hands. We've always used our hands for deflecting passes. The coaches who have allowed their players to put their hands on the opponent sometimes gain a tremendous advantage because the referees don't call that. But that's not been one of our teaching points.
Coach, you talked about Manu and Burnett. So can you talk a little more about Davon Reed and what he might bring to the team?
Well, Davon, of all the freshmen and all the newcomers, is best prepared to play our defense. I think he's had a lot of good days defensively. He's a little bit more aggressive defensively than the other guys, which is good, but it does have its shortcomings because he could get in foul trouble. Offensively, he's also a very versatile player, kind of a jack of all trades. He can play the 1, he can play the 2, he can play the 3. His natural position, had we had Shane Larkin back, DeAndre Burnett healthy, he probably would have played more at the 3 this year than any other position. But because we don't have Shane, we don't have DeAndre, he's going to play 1, 2, and 3.
Coach, can you talk about, other than Shane, that we know the other guys from last year, where they're playing?
Well, to update you, Shane should play next week. At least he'll be in uniform next week. He's practicing now and looks like he's full go very, very shortly. Julian Gamble is in France, doing very well. We talked to him the other day. Durant Scott is in Spain, doing well. Trey McKinney-Jones is in the D-League. Kenny Kaji was deciding between the D-League and Europe. And Reggie Johnson, I understand, his name was on the draft list for the D-League, but I don't know if that occurred or not.
78ers, 87ers.
What is it?
Delaware, yeah.
So he got drafted by the Delaware team. So I don't know if he plans to do that or not. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Coach.
By the way, it's the